as I back out of my driveway. I want it to have, there's nothing like half-burnt diesel in the morning. Be able to see that tree behind me because let's see if I can't. I don't ever use that. Where is that? It's actually fairly decent outside today. I thought it was supposed to be like way cold. And it's not too bad. Weird. So I can get all my the full effect of the diesel in the morning.
At the next stop sign, turn right.
Drive out of here with clogged windows. So, here's the deal. What I want to talk about this morning on my way to work, it's a little late. It's
at the stop sign, turn right onto Webb Road.
Going a little bit sooner than this, but I had to, I got out to the truck about 6:35. And then I had to make sure, clear all my crap. I'm not a big fan of, come from Iowa, and in Iowa, during the winter especially, you kind of
1.3 miles,
scrape
turn
enough
left
off
onto
the
Old
car
Columbia Road.
to make it work. And, just enough that you have a hole that you can see out of. I had the time. I took the time this morning so that I could properly clean my windows, wipe off my mirrors because they're foggy, that sort of thing. So a little later than normal, or a little later than I, quote, wanted to be, but we're still good. What I really wanted to talk about is the concept of aggressively patient. And the way I am built in my mind, that sounds like the dumbest dang thing ever. But it's definitely a concept that has to be utilized whether you know it or not. And it has to be thought out, it has to be applied, it has to be, I'm trying to think of the right word. It's a thing. And if you don't use it, your business won't go any further. Your life wouldn't go any further. Like if you just sat around and waited until life happened to you.
At the next
and I was
stop
never
sign,
one of those people,
turn left.
But with a caveat, because I always went out and did things. But I was under the misimpression earlier in life that if that kind of the preordained is not quite the right word for it, but that everything was already pre-planned and it was going to happen the way it was going to happen, and nothing that I really did was going to change it. So I was my life was planned, and I was to just live it.
At the stop
I do not believe that is
turn
the case.
left onto Old Columbia Road.
I believe that we do have to work it, because God didn't plan our lives. From what I fully understand is He knows what's going on. He didn't make it happen, or He's not manipulating us, I guess maybe is the right word for it, depending on who you talk to. The point of the story is aggressively patient. So
In about
in
2.5
your business,
miles, turn left
you
onto
need
New
to be
Columbia Highway.
aggressive in working hard every day, in going after the sale, in making new relationships, in finding new customers, in building new products, in making your process easier, faster, more efficient. And conveniently, if you make it more efficient, it's usually easier and faster. Yeah, I'm just on half the road, buddy. There is a saying that I heard many, many years ago, and it's one of those things that you're like, oh, that makes sense. But you have to apply it to your life. And I haven't, because I have a preconceived notion of life. So there was this little saying that says that if somebody told you that, your life depended on cutting this tree down in an hour, you would spend the first 45 minutes sharpening your blade. And honestly, stupidly, whatever, that never would have occurred to me. I would have been like, oh, I better hurry up and get started, like chopping. So to me, physical, and that's because my love language is acts of, like, doing things. Service, acts of service, I think that's what it's called. I do. And I don't do blindly necessarily. I don't just be like, oh, hey, I'm going to go out and rake the lawn when there's no leaves because I'm doing something. No, that's the 13-year-old version. That's not the 40-year-old version. Part of this, though, is you have to be doing things. But the key is it doesn't have to be things. It doesn't have to be doing. It doesn't have to be physical. Sometimes it's mental. I'm way behind on, I'm horrible at selling. Why? Because I don't like salesmen. I don't like people being overly aggressive. I'm the person who, it's true, we don't have cable and haven't for, I'm not sure if we have since we've moved down here, and we didn't before. I'm wondering if we didn't for a little bit when we got here, but I don't think so. It might have been some new person package deal where it was cheaper with the internet if we got anyway. But Jet, my youngest has never had cable. We just don't sit and watch TV. I don't have time for it. I do watch, we have Paramount Plus because there's some shows on there that we like, and so, once a week my husband and I sit down and watch a 45-minute show. Doing that, the sharpening the blade thing, you need to be, it's putting your mental, work, that whole work smarter, not harder thing.
Left.
It's making it so that you can get your job done more efficiently if you do this other thing, if you prep better. So I need to have my things be sold. I create things, I need them to sell. But sitting down on the computer for 4 hours, or in my case at this point in time, 12 hours or 30 hours, to make Etsy listings, to update my website, to
at the stop
do
sign,
all of
turn
those
left
things.
onto New Columbia Highway.
Absolutely 100% necessary. But in my brain, because it's not a doing, it's not a physically making the stuff, it's not a whatever, then it seems less than important.
For about 15 miles, continue straight.
If you cut in the line, they're still pretty far behind me, but get up to speed. Side note. So aggressively patient is, I still need to go out and get the sale. I still need to work on that. I still need to build as many things as I can build. I still need to secure a couple more vendor fairs. It's on my a ton of people, but one is, maybe they're both $40. One's 40, one's 45 or something like that. It's just a table one's in a church and one's in the local high school. That one is pretty, there's a fair amount of people that come to it. It's put on by the local art guild. But I have to realize that I need to be able to do things on the computer, and that's still doing things for my business, even though it's not physical labor. And that is very hard for my brain to get wrapped around. It is very hard for me to think when somebody says, go chop down your tree. Let me sit down on my butt and do and grind my axe. Yeah, it's totally, like, it's what's needed. That's not where my head goes. My head goes, well, you better run your butt out there and start. And I need to be more deliberate in taking the time to prep better, if that's the right word for it. And so that's what we're working on today. We're also working on still being aggressive in the moment, in the little things, in the pursuit, and then being patient for the results, I think, is a good way to break that down. Aggressive in the pursuit, patient in the results, because you're not going to work your ass off today and make $1 million today, starting from ground zero. Let's start there. I mean, could Andy Frisella go out today and work his ass off today and make $1 million today? Probably. He also has a 30-year head start on me, which is also something that I have to remember. Because, again, that whole comparison is the thief of joy. Comparison, especially on the internet, when you, I don't believe anything anymore. I haven't for years and years and years, but I really don't believe the internet. Especially with this AI ChatGPT crap, which it's not AI, that's not what it literally is, so I don't like to use that term anyway. It's just there's a word for it. All it does is gather a bunch of gather a bunch of information that's already out there. It's just like a skimming program. Like, it just collects everything and it runs an algorithm to see, oh, this is about the most popular response. It doesn't think, it doesn't reason, it doesn't any of that, so it's not intelligent. I think that the powers that be want to get us used to saying that, and then when it transitions over to the robots running the world, then we're all just going to be like, well, we've had it for 20 years and it's fine. Just kidding, calm down. Robots are not going to take over the world. So that is our thoughts today. Think on being aggressively patient. Think on your prep, how to hone your skill, how to sharpen your blade,